It's 10 o'clock. We're here at the JP 1 and 2 courtroom. It's 10 o'clock on July the 5th, 2011, and we're here for the courthouse restoration progress meeting. And I think the first item is to go through the agenda from Stoddard. Lee?
Okay, thank you, Judge. And July 5th, expired sheet number 36, and sign-in sheet. Commissioner Barrett started that. It's going around. Safety, everything is good safety-wise, no problems. Next meeting will be held July 19th in the Central Jury Room. To look ahead for as far as what J.C. Stoddard is doing is we're still continuing on the ceiling panel repairs and installation of the metal panels in the courtroom. Continuing sheetrock installation at burr dams. We are compacting the select fill that we put in the main corridor for our concrete floor on Thursday. Let's see, Gensler, our electrician, they're hooking up water source heat pumps, running power to disconnects, and wall rushing in Northeast basement. Painter is continuing to tape and float burr dams, doing paint throughout the building, and like I said, we'll be pouring the main corridor slab on this Thursday. MMI continuing the woodwork.
I have a question. Yes, you said that's the 14th. Did you change it to the 7th then? So you're this Thursday?
Sorry, it's this Thursday, yes. Okay. It is July 7th. Millwork guys, they're in the courtroom working. We're working kind of throughout the building, but we're concentrating in the courtroom right now. He's just kind of throughout. He's getting there pretty good. Wood floor repairs, they're starting all of that. I believe today we're going to have a sanding, or not a sanding, but a mock-up prior to putting tunnel down. Just something you can look at, just to see what you think. And Visual Innovations has started pulling their wire for the AV. And Dennis, you got anything?
Going through, we've got those two fan coil or water source heat pumps. We'll finish up when the closets are done tomorrow. I'll try and get you, based on the meeting we had this morning, I'll try and get you some information on that a little bit later today.
Okay.
Follow up on that, those two areas, raise that ductwork as well. I need to check with the sprinkler guy to see what he has that is affected by that area.
Okay.
We went through and we kind of set up a startup schedule, if you will, so hopefully everything will still fall in line with that.
July 18th is our
Start of the startup, if you will.
Start of the startup, yeah.
We haven't really talked about when we want to start putting fixtures on in like the restrooms and stuff like that. I don't know when the finishes are, but we probably need to think about that as well. Obviously, July 15th probably way early, but somewhere.
Yeah, we need to. That's kind of.
That's kind of it right there.
Okay. Thanks, Dennis. Tim, you got anything?
No, sir. Everything's going good.
Okay, great. Jackie?
Everything looks like it's going okay. Visual Innovations guys were in there pulling cable. We walked the site this morning, looked over where they've pulled so far. Just had one spot that's kind of being a little bit of a difficult area to get to. We anticipated some of those, so we're working through that. The speaker locations look like they're working out well as we planned. Frame out on that, and so we're moving along.
Thank you, Jackie. Looks like 4th of July is over, so our next one is 2nd, the 3rd, and 4th, Labor Day Warriors Classic finish. And I guess we'll talk about that when we get a little closer as far as what we need to do to get ready for that. The bills ongoing, they're coming to a close. R5s, there are none from us or Dennis. You don't have any either, right?
No.
Okay. Staging of materials, we are going to have to shut down that south side on 7/7 on Thursday. And should be down for about 4 hours from 7 to about 11. Closeout procedures, we'll talk a little more about that as we get a little closer. Change proposals, CPR 4 is still pending. Item number 2 on change proposals is alternate number 2 painting of using Communic to paint the roof 100% at $142,599. And that gives the county portion of $21,390 and THC portion of $121,209. We want to discuss that.
Let's just wait till we get to the discussion.
Okay. CPR 41 is the exit signs for $1,705.
Why is that a change?
Well, you had exit lights were in the base bid, and they already had them ordered, so they're already there, and then they were switched to an exit that nuclear powered, so we wouldn't have to trench. So you've got, I guess, 8 exit lights in your hands that you can use somewhere else, but that is the 8 extras.
What was the cost of the original trenching on the base bid?
That's all. Then
why did we change it?
what was the? Do you remember, Tim?
That was prior to 10. It was a savings though to not trench that wall.
Yeah.
Well,
this price, this $17.05 they gave us is actually less than the price of the new extra price.
Well, I think also we got rid of the emergency panel, which was a $5,000 credit. And so I think these lights will tie that panel, call for a good fix.
yeah, it was.
So overall, it
With
was
overhead
less.
profit.
Overall, I'll tell you what, we use those particular lights in a lot of jobs. And if you do have them, I can guarantee you the next job or two, I'm getting fired.
Okay.
Right from you.
So we saved a bunch of money when we spent $1,700. We got to prove that.
That's typical county business right there.
Yeah, it was about $9,000.
It was 9,800, 977.
That's already been put back in.
Yes, remember that was done when we didn't do the trenching on the wall.
Okay.
So we need a motion now.
We can do it now.
Move to accept the $17.05.
CPR 41.
Motion by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Vaughn to approve CPR 41 in the amount of $1,705 for exit signs. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Now we're going to turn around and spend the savings.
Thank you for it. This is CPR 42. This is additional window replacement with historic material. And I sent the change proposal out with all the backup on it. Tells you which windows.
Why would that not have been included in your?
This is when you start stripping all the paint off of the windows, and we're starting to see
It's the soft.
non-historic material. So
I wouldn't look at those windows and you can definitely tell a little bit of difference, but I don't think you can tell $6,000 difference. I'm not going to approve this myself.
I'm not in.
I'm moving, I'm trudging forward because they're on floor 2 and floor 3. The one that's probably the most noticeable is in the historic commissioner's office, and one's in the judge's office behind his desk. But I'm not spending $6,000 for this.
You can't
Yeah,
spell $6,000.
For me, it's not, for me, I would be very, the visibility of it is not an issue.
Is an issue between the species not being able to, if it might work or move, if it's popular wood or something like that?
Let me tell you what, it's no worse than what Texas Historic Commission does to us on those window sills and the chair rail. When they make us stop the chair rail and change the regular wood, you can definitely tell a difference. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
Which,
When you stop chair rail and you start going to another area and it's not the same wood, and they put that block in there.
a new wall,
well, I would certainly be happy to go with historic wood, but it would be a lot more expensive to go with,
I want to just get away from this one here and go.
Yeah.
Well, let's,
Motion to decline CPR 42.
Okay, have a motion made by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington to disapprove CPR 42, which is the additional window replacement with historic material. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thanks, Court. That gets us to discussion items, and the first one on the list is the roof painting. And I guess we open discussion after that.
I think there's also some people in the audience that want to discuss, but we'll call on y'all in just a second.
And so is this regarding the testing panel?
I guess, yeah.
So I have the roof panel that I will just tell you right away is not your color at all. I mean, it's a very different color. But they just selected a random red.
Is that after it's faded?
No. No, that's why I wanted to really
Faded already, right?
Already faded. It's not the color. And so that's 15 years, I guess, of freeze and thaw and weathering conditions. And then this is the actual, that's the color that I think we're going to have a mock-up. So that'll probably be a lot easier to see it.
See this here right there, right there, groove right there?
Yep.
That's what I see right there already, and
It didn't even get painted yet.
no. And they got it in the lab to work on it. What do you think?
I think they weren't trying, I don't think they were trying to just cut and coat carefully.
Thinking why they wouldn't use the color that we're supposed to have when this is such a big deal all the time.
Well, he never even asked me. He was just going to do a white. And then when I contacted him to ask him why the testing was taking so much longer, he said, I asked him to go ahead and put a red on there so that they could see what it would look like. And I said, well, did you ask me what red? Because, we have a very specific red we're looking for. And he said, oh, no, he just picked the red. So
I don't even call that red.
no, it's kind of an orange, but they've confirmed, that this color, this
Is that what you-
specific color can be
What
orange.
do you think about that, Larry?
So they don't have problems with the pigments in that.
Right.
A little more brown here.
This is country red wood. You see it, Steve? Here's the proposed.
So that's the same, that's the same red that's on the windows.
What is it, the same color as Weatherford?
Depending on how theirs is weathered, but I don't know.
I don't know if it's the exact.
It doesn't, this one, the mess that we have here looks a lot deeper red than the one itself.
No, that's roughly what you put.
This is not like it's extra new money.
I'm sorry, so
This is not extra new money. This is still coming from the general fund.
this.
No, it's extra new money.
Well, it's either what, from what is the contingency balance?
It's a little under 150, I think.
So currently there is money in the contingency that would cover it,
we have
but if
3
you
months to
wanted
go.
to, right, so if you could pay for this out of the contingency and then still use the supplemental funding if that contingency goes over and still use that at a 15% match, and we would just.
At our current burn rate, that contingency is not going to make it to the end of the price.
So there may be.
Yeah, I mean, that would wipe it out by itself. But there's other things still coming. We got 3 months to go in the contingency fund.
The
Still-
painting.
There are still going to be charges against that contingency fund that have nothing to do with painting. So it's a little under 150.
And is there, obviously there are always going to be some unforeseen, like these windows,
These floors.
things like that. Now the floors,
A chair rail, like they were talking about a while ago, that might be some we could use that too. The contingency.
what chair rail? I'm sorry.
Well, this one we got through talking about it.
You mean the species?
It's already up.
Yeah, I think that's
It's already done.
No, it's already up there.
So that is an unforeseen that you would expect earlier in the project, but at this stage, I'll defer to Stoddard, but I wouldn't expect any large unexpected costs you know, at the end, as you go toward the end of the project, you're gonna have less and less.
Get scratched, Steve.
It's not the scratch it bothers me, it's the way it painted around the edges.
You know, I definitely don't think they were trying to do this for appearances, you know, I think that they,
I don't know why they wouldn't.
All the issue is, they should have.
They should have made that a perfect, they should have made that a perfect deal whenever they brought it back to them instead of like that.
well, I think that they
So,
knew
them
the
people
way.
up on that, them people up on that scaffold.
For example, like they didn't cut down here. I mean, I think they know that the,
Well, it didn't do that to show us the undercoat after cleaning, but, I mean, that's the problem. When that expands and heat, that gray stripe you're seeing is gonna be twice that straight.
You know, if I was a company trying to sell a product,
I've done a perfect
I
job
would
of
have
that.
sent an impeccable sample.
I think the sample was not for visual appearances as much, you know, it's a testing sample. And so I don't think that they were, you know, and I think that he probably didn't convey to the people doing the testing the concerns of the court, which is, you know, it is unfortunate because they, obviously especially in a lab, they could have.
They're gonna make it wrong. So them boys up on that scaffold, it ain't gonna be a perfect situation up there, I tell you. You got somebody that wants to talk about this?
Kenneth, would you like to, we're talking about painting the roof now, would you like to give your feelings on this?
Well, yeah, I'd like to say something about it. Especially painting the roof, fixing the roof, painting the roof is not leaking. It's a perfectly good roof that taxpayers paid to put up there. You may change the color of it, but you're creating a problem with taxpayers in the future whenever it runs out. I don't know if any of you know what the roof is made out of now, do you? Steve, do you?
Just all the tiles we've seen, Kenneth.
The roof is up there now.
Yes, sir, this is one of those tiles.
What's it made out of?
It's pure zinc.
What?
Zinc.
Zinc.
It's not zinc coated, it's pure zinc.
It's made out of zinc and it's coated.
The way I understand it was always designed to continue to turn that slate color. Is that right, Kenneth?
Okay, then what are you going to do when you want to paint it? You going to sandblast it, or are you going to wash it with acetone, or what, and take care of the color? Or are you going to kill the use of the metal that you got up there now? And what are your shoulders made out of? They're not the same as zinc. And what your roads made out of?
I believe almost the entire roof is pure zinc, and then there is some lead-coated copper that is surrounding. It's the trim surrounding the clock.
You got the zinc cables come down, and you got the shoulders, and you got the roll. And it's not zinc.
The material that's already painted, the cornice. I'm not sure I understand what the shoulder is.
No, it's not zinc.
I
Your
think
rolls,
that's just
your rolls and your shoulders have no support under them. They go up so far on your roof. And if you go up there to paint them things and have any structure on them at all, you're going to run the whole thing. For nothing. There's not nothing wrong with the roof like it is right now. Other than it's not red like you want it, or like some people want it. There's a lot of people that'd rather just have it like it is, save the taxpayers money now, and save the taxpayers money in the future. You get what, a 10 or 15 year guarantee with it? And then every 10 or 15 years, the taxpayer's got to come up with $250,000, $500,000, whatever it is, whatever the contractor wants. You don't have no choice then. You've signed it over. You've lost control of it. If it's just for red and no more than red is going to do, the people around the square think it's going to enhance their income at taxpayers' expense. People up in La Pan, Tober, Crescent, Acton, it's not going to help them none. And the chances are it won't help the people merchants on the square. People are not going to drive from Fort Worth or Dallas down here to $3 or $4 gallon of gas to just see a red courthouse. They can go whether to see one. Your other merchants, we have many things in the county that need money, other than spending $200,000 or $300,000 on the courthouse. That is perfectly right. You're not going to help it a bit. The only chance you have is to make it worse. You're not going to enhance it at all. And some people would say that if you want to make a difference on the courthouse fire, put a blonde wig on the statue and paint his lips red. You're not hurting nothing. You can take it off. But when you enhance the whole courthouse and do the whole thing, then you're calling for trouble. You can't undo what you've done. You haven't had a metallurgist make a study on the Lil Tower. You don't even know what it'll do. Electromagnetic painting, like you do on car bumpers and stuff like that, is not enhanced for something like that kind of metal. You don't know what kind of paint you're going to use. You're not going to just start painting. There's got to be done to prepare that roof to take the paint. And your shoulders and your rolls are absolutely thin stainless steel. They will not support anything, not even lights. The man that put it up there, Mr. Frank Stevens, will tell you what should. Don't put no holes in the rolls. And the first thing he'll tell you, and I've talked to some of you about it, the first thing you ought to do, even consider doing it, you need to get a metallurgist and have him make a study of that metal. Determine what kind of paint you're going to try to use, what kind of preparations you're going to make to do it. There's not none of that stuff you do will enhance the life of the roof as it is now. The roof has been through a hailstorm, it broke windows and everything else, the roof stood up fine.
It is true that the roof is constructed of a two metals that will not deteriorate. We do know exactly what the metals are.
That's right.
And
what are they?
Lead-coated copper.
That's for.
Well, it's copper with lead coating, and then there's pure zinc. Is the majority of the roof is a solid zinc shingle.
Okay, then if the roof is of a structure now that won't deteriorate or go bad, then you added something here that will, because you're only getting a 10 to 15 year guarantee with it. So that's the fun that. What if you get a hailstorm and knocks part of the paint off? Then you got a gray roof and you got a red roof. Then you've got to do something. You don't have to do nothing now. There's not a thing in the world wrong with that roof as far as good structure and a solid of a protection of the courthouse. That's what it's meant for.
There is a 15-year warranty, and the manufacturer of the coating believes that it will start to fade. That's just on the gloss and color. So it's a 15-year gloss and color warranty. The coating itself, they believe, will easily last 20 years. They have water towers all over the country that easily
the courthouse roof does exactly what the gentleman said it was when he put it up there. And that's why we all made a study and listened to it, what he said. He said it'll turn copper color wrong, and they'll fade out to soft gray. That'll match everything on the square and the county. And that's what we wanted, that's what it done. And the structure of the roof, you cannot make it any better by putting paint on it. All you can do is spend taxpayers' money and enhance it on down the road and spend it again and again and again.
Regarding the tourism, I mean, the Texas Historical Commission has done marketing analysis across the state, and people that have fully restored their buildings on the exterior have seen dramatic improvements.
Doing marketing analysis is separate from painting a courthouse roof. They should have no connection with these.
I do believe that heritage
tourists. It's serving the people in the county to pay the taxes, the whole thing.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Mary, you have something?
I just want to reiterate to you, Preserve Granbury's position is to support the painting of the roof. I think that the county taxpayers paid a paint expert who knows what the roof is made out of, and he's saying, you know, none of us were alive then, and none of us know for sure what the color was, but he's saying that in his experience, the paint expert from Galveston, that the roof would have been red. Then we had these experts at Phonemic do the testing, and they're giving us a 15-year warranty. Preserve Granbury's told you that we will donate $1,000 The Merchants Association has said they'll donate $1,000 to $2,000. And we feel confident we can raise more money to make this happen. So I just wanted to reiterate our position. And in all due respect to Commissioner Humphreys, I think that it will do something for the people in Acton, in my opinion. I think that all of us feel like the courthouse is the heart of our community. And I think making it back to the contrasting colors it was historically, because even the architect who did that roof, Art Lyman, is now saying that he realized that it wasn't the right thing to do. So I think it will do something for everybody in the county. And I think that and especially I think it will enhance tourism. So that's our position, and I just wanted to reiterate that to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to say something? Yes.
My name is Charlotte Mayall, and I've attended the majority of the meetings that you have had on the restoration of the courthouse. I live right on the lake. I look at the courthouse every day. It's right at my back door. And red might be a pretty contrasting color. In the meetings I've attended, I thought we were about to beat this horse to death. And I thought the decision had been made and put to bed. But I sympathize with the merchants on the square. I don't own the business on the square. But we certainly bring friends, relatives. I have relatives that live in Canada, and they love the square. And it does bring tourism, our historic square. But to burden the court with additional expense in the future for the taxpayers, I see nothing wrong with the color of the courthouse. Apparently it is a durable material. I think it's attractive myself. I see nothing wrong with the color of it. That is just my opinion as a taxpayer and a citizen of the county.
Thank you, Charlotte. I think I'll get Chad. Do you have something?
The question I have is, like, we're going to paint this thing. We're painting the shutters black, which are going to heat the building on the inside if you shut the shutters, which is, I think, ridiculous. And then the roof part, the whole thing is painted gray. The windows, the trim, everything that is not the zinc is painted gray or copper coat, whatever it is that's put on there. If you look at the pictures we get in our newsletter, the windows are painted and look like windows. If you look at the courthouse at Parker County, their windows up on the steeple, the shutters, it's a window. It's painted the trim color of the rest of the courthouse to where it actually looks good. It's not one solid color that covers up everything. And if painting's what's going to happen, I hope that that's also taken into consideration to make it look decent, if that's what the court decides.
Thank you, Chad. Christy?
Christy Massey. I just have one question. Will doing something to the roof affect the warranty that we have now? What kind of warranty do we have? And what are the parameters that we can do anything to the roof without negating the warranty?
Well, the way I understand it, we have a lifetime warranty on the roof. And I don't think we've ever gone back to the manufacturer and said, what will that do if we put some kind of cleaning on, or abrasive, or however we want to do to get that oxidation off of there. And, that's probably a step that we need to go through. Does anybody have anything they want to add to that?
All I can say is that I agree with most everything that's been said, and I understand in a perfect world where we had money to throw away, this is a perfect situation to fix the roof. The numbers I saw that Stan gave us this morning are just detrimental. It doesn't look good from a common sense aspect when you're spending, whether it be $21,000 or $2,000. It does not look good on a court that has prided itself in being fiscally responsible. When we're going to lay people off, folks, we're going to lay people off. This is going to be the bloodiest budget you've seen since I've been on the court, which is 4.5 years. We're going to lose jobs. We're going to lose positions. I'm not raising the taxes. The people out there have spoken. You may want a roof painted red, but the people that called me at home said, You can paint it red, but you better figure out how to paint it without raising my taxes. And I had a lady sit here in the audience and say, raise my taxes. She didn't really mean it.
1 out of 50,000.
But I'm going to tell you right now, the paper's running an ad in there, and they're about who's going to do this. We were elected to make a decision. We've already made that decision. It's time to move on. The same merchants that want it painted red are the same people that beat us up every day to get it open because we're killing their parking on the square. But my first priority is the taxpayers, and then the second is the employees. And it's going to kill me, but we're going to lose employees and we're going to lose positions. We're going to put people out on the street, and it doesn't look good, and the newspaper and everybody else out there and the general public then will write. Isn't it sad that the commissioners are painting the roof while we lay people off? I'm like Ms. Charlotte is back there. It's time to put this to bed so that Mr. Stoddard can go forward and finish this project. Susan, go back to Austin. She's got another courthouse to work on. But this is creating a dividing part in the community, whether the merchants or whether people that sit on the front row believe it or not. This has divided the community. It's divided this court. It's time to go forward.
Okay, well, I think we're good.
I've got one more thing to say. I talked to the architect that done the roof when it was done, and he told me if you get up on that roof and do anything to it, you could cause a leak in the building. Now that's where I'm at, and I'm not going to put paint. Okay.
I want to say something too. My position is one, basically a financial basis, just like Steve said. Number one, this court has voted twice not to paint this room, on 2 occasions. That says something. Number two, we had until approximately 9 weeks ago talked only about this courthouse project as an interior restoration. That's what it was designed for. That's how the grant is written. That's how the grant was led. If it is of the utmost importance to the state of Texas, historical commission or otherwise, that this roof be red rather than gray, like it was put on originally, as Commissioner Humphries has said, in a perfectly serviceable fashion, then the state of Texas ought to take care of it. There shouldn't be a dime coming from the taxpayers of Wood County. However, having said that, we also know that if they did take care of it and painted it red, that we would have to leave to a future court the decision to repaint it red and repaint it red innumerable number of times in the history of the courthouse. It's been like it is now, well beyond the lifetime of everybody in this room. It's been completely serviceable. I will agree with Chad that I think some contrasting trim colors might make it look better on that tower, but that's not the roof. So my position is, from the standpoint of financial responsibility that I feel with taxpayers all over the county, we've made the decision, we've made it proper.
Michael?
The original grant, the original agreement was for an interior restoration. I'm not exactly sure how we got off down this road.
I'm not either.
But we shouldn't have went down this road, and we need to get back on finishing the restoration on the interior.
Thank you. Lee? Not up on the roof. Back to your agenda.
Item number 2, City of Granbury's plan to upgrade electricity, the outside center of the square. Tim.
Judge, Commissioner, morning. I've got as your, due to y'all's request, I've rerouted the underground proposal to make 4 crossings instead of 8. Commissioner Berry emailed me last week, and there are, he actually forwarded an email to me from Train, Dennis Hastings at Train, and there were a few concerns in his email as far as the route of the conduit over no wellheads. That can be easily done. This is pretty flexible here, how we go across the courthouse parking lot. I don't think that, I think what, on his recommendation was to put sand on top of the conduit. I think we're going to put flowable backfill in order to meet National Electric Code's requirements, we need to go ahead and put flowable black backfill or some type of concrete product dyed to meet the National Electric Code over the conduit and to take care of that. So it's not gonna hurt it, it'll only make it better. So, I'm sorry. Well, in his letter, he stated that we could go 18 to 24 inches, but he also asked to do a line locate on, to make sure we took care of the route of these lines that they have in here.
He being trained, yes, okay.
Keep in mind, Train's not the only one that has anything in that parking lot.
ERTEC is that's one thing. When Dennis emailed Tim, and Tim forwarded it on to all of us, I thought, but I got it and sent it to Keith Callahan, Tim's boss, and Tim, the electrical supervisor, so that he knew what we were looking at before. Dennis was out of pocket last week, I believe, on vacation, or the week before. But they don't want to damage our lines, but at the same time, 24 inches, as I talked to Tim, it's awful deep. I'm not really excited about going 24 inches.
I'm just saying that they can go, our piping's at 4 feet. There's some stuff where we had to come above it or below it based on plumbing or piping that was already in the ground prior to us being there. But probably 95% of the piping, the header piping associated with us is 4 feet or deeper. You can go however deep you need to go. Understanding there's other things in that ground that's not associated with the loop piping. That's why we're suggesting you do some type of locate.
All your loops have tracer wire on them? All your loops, Dennis, have tracer wire?
Yes.
You're going to do a check anyway, correct? Steve will do a check?
Yes. We have, I don't know if y'all have the ability to, I'd rather y'all locate it, but we can work in conjunction with y'all to locate it if we have.
You need to call a dig test and let them come out and mark the pipes.
Well, we're going to do that anyway. But as far as they will not mark y'all, your lines, we're going to have some kind of third party means of either us do it, y'all do it, or whoever. Main thing we need to do is get it located. Find out where everything is. We won't turn the swing of dirt if we don't have a line located on anything.
Well, I don't think that there's a tracer. I don't think there's anything on.
Well, there's marking tape, and most of the time it's a metallic material where you can't locate it.
I wasn't sure if the fiber was put in, if it ever had any kind of a marking tape or anything put in with it that comes across there. I mean, we know in the general vicinity where it is, where it turns, but we don't know an exact location on that.
Well,
there may be something in there.
This weekend, we actually, I'm not trying to throw a sob story at you or anything, but this weekend we had trouble on the square. We had the main breaker trip, and part of it is we've just absolutely grown bigger than we have facilities to take care of it.
Tim, on not the verticals that are crossing the parking lot, but on the lateral ones, couldn't those be brought out almost all the way to the sidewalk to where they'd be outside the perimeter of our well line?
That is our intentions to do that.
I mean, that way you're not crossing.
Take it right to the curb and gutter.
Yeah, because they don't show that on here. But if they go all the way to the curbing, so the only concerns you'd have would be the crossing lines.
This is not an exact science here. This is just a little frame.
So the only concern would be the
Our intentions are absolutely to miss and make it is we don't want to get into anything. We want to stay away from anything that might be something we have to go back and fix or cause problems.
Non-invasive.
Non-invasive. And our intentions are also to try to get in before there's any paving done, because we know that
we won't allow that to happen.
If we wait,
After the fact.
I move we go ahead and let the city put the electric in for the.
Well, preliminary.
Yes.
They got to go back. I mean, he just needs preliminary approval,
That's right.
and then work with Tim to work with Lee and Dennis to work around. Obviously, you wouldn't want them working when we're bringing a cement truck in.
No, but I think we should give them permission to at least move ahead with the stuff.
Move ahead with the project.
All right, we have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington. Do I have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Rowan to begin the preliminary examination on upgrading the electrical for the courthouse square, the three-phase, right, Tim?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
We need an interlocal.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
I definitely want an interlocal. It's just preliminary, him to go back to his boss, in my opinion, and tell him, yes, preliminary, we're gonna allow him to do it, but the city needs, we need a whole harmless agreement.
So they can get into the detailed plans and design a whole harmless inside of the interlocal.
All right, Harlan's got that motion down. Any other discussion? Any other additions?
I'll just note that I will need to see, I'll need to review, just if anything's gonna be above ground on the square, visible, then I will need to, like the breaker boxes or anything.
Well, actually, the breaker boxes on the corner, they're replacing existing breaker boxes.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, a bigger, more power, more capability could be a bigger, a little larger boxes.
Yeah, I'll give you my card and then you can, whenever down the road.
Okay.
One thing that I would like to request, I don't know if it's going to be feasible or not, whenever we do start digging in there, I would like for the geothermal lines to be pressurized.
When will that happen, Dennis?
It'll go through the startup process. We have to have, the last 2 water source heat pumps installed. There might be some piping inside we need to solidify, but you're probably gonna look at it happening the week of the 18th of July.
That's going to be ahead of you. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, have a call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Dan.
Item number 3, Jeff?
Yeah, I've worked that out with Tim.
Good.
And number 4, I have details to release on the bench that emulates the Denton County that was mentioned to be approved. But also, I was about to finalize the last plan. And the last approved plan we had was this plan here. We had some areas in between the railing here that actually, it's just too much, I think it's just too much of a hazard for a trip and a fall. And instead, no matter if we had a guard or I didn't want to put another guardrail up here. So this modification to the plan takes it all the way out, holds it off a few inches from the historic railing. So it will be its own bench into itself. This shows the area of the historic bench. So the front of the historic bench is basically the same as that. This is a wider plan. It gives more depth. It's just taking the approved plan and accommodating more
We had
areas.
6-inch to 8-inch spacing on the sides, and that's Jeff sent that email, and now he just bumped it over within 2 inches of the same.
Yeah, I'm fine with the platform extending out. I don't see the purpose of extending this out any further.
No, it didn't actually. It didn't extend this out. It actually just took this further out to the rail and
Yeah,
held that to the rail.
I mean, the rail and the bench itself.
Yeah.
So I would rather not see, I just don't see the purpose of that.
Thank you.
This was the original.
Oh, yeah, no, I think
And so we just took this actually right here
extending the
and
platform
extended it this
makes
way.
perfect sense. And what I'm saying is here you're showing, see how much smaller the bench is?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about the platform can be as big as it needs to be, and a rail would need, but the bench itself, I don't understand why that has to
You're
be.
hidden though, because the women sitting there with the dress are gonna be elevated to the general public.
Kind of the Mossy handles.
It's exactly the way you want.
Well, I don't understand why
You're
this bench can't be
you're
the
saying
same
take the
as
platform
that.
all the way to the railing and keep the bench the same
Yes.
layout.
That doesn't change anything with the modesty or anything
No, I'm not
else.
for that. That's the smartest thing to do. It looks better that way.
Oh, this is too big. It's too big. It's huge. It's a third bigger than it was.
No, it's not.
A quarter bigger. It's a lot bigger.
It's this much bigger from there to there.
Well, no, because the whole thing is bigger,
Yeah.
and this used to not.
We're back to what you wanted. You wanted a workable courtroom.
Yes.
You're gonna pile five
And
people
we
up
all
right
agreed
here?
upon this, and I
Yeah,
understand that we
so
want to get rid of this gap. You know, I understand that this gap is dangerous. So extend the platform, but to increase the overall size of all the railing and the bench.
You increase the railing.
Yes, it's all.
The panel, the front
If you
panel.
take the size, the overall size.
And this is what it looks in elevation down below too, extended as
So
well.
here's the original size.
He just copied Denton County, which we've all agreed on from the get-go.
I'm not talking about the design of the bench. I'm talking about the size of it. It's this much bigger, which is, what, 3 feet on either side larger.
Yeah, by the time you take the
The
rail,
bench,
the
not
bench
just the
itself,
platform.
not just the platform, the bench on each side, it does expand it to about 3 foot on each side.
That's nice.
And I was thinking that it would, this seemed tight on their seats right here, and I was thinking that another foot for each space.
I've got a great idea. Let's just build it the way she wants, put the bench up there, and we'll continue to use the jury room, and then we won't use that courtroom.
But this is what we'd all agreed upon.
This
Commissioner
was- this
Barry.
was.
Why
When
is
he-
it suddenly
when he-
not working for you?
Well, it's kind of like your job, okay? You go back to Austin, we don't know what you do for 2-3 weeks at a time. Jeff went back and actually sat down and says, you can't back these chairs out without being a safety issue. Not only will the Commissioner's Court set up here, you'll have witnesses sitting up here. And when a witness sits up here and falls over the back, my job's liability.
Well, and I absolutely agree that the platform needs to be extended. I agree with that.
I went up extending the bench just because I thought it was more.
It looks better, it looks more
room
professional.
But that's why I wanted to talk out too.
And just to answer your question, I have 6 other construction projects.
That's
other than
great.
This one that
This
are
is
all
my main
just as
concern. This is
time-consuming.
absolutely my only concern.
I understand that. I'm just telling you I have a lot of other projects as well. And a lot of traveling and.
The bench right here was on the original drawings, but they had a step up for the judges area as well. And so since there was a step up for the judges area too, that's one reason I thought to go home to actually expand the space on the bench itself a little bit. Because if we have a step up for this bench here, then I thought it was a little tight from the way
It is.
it was.
Two chairs.
And that's the elevation of it. And this was actually pulled from the original drawings that got X'd out, basically, the interior, part of it got X'd out. So I took those, and since I expanded the platform, I wanted to just expand the bench a little, as well. And that's why I wanted to talk about it here, so I can finalize it or not. Yeah, and I put that together. When I was actually finalizing the details on Friday afternoon, I wound up doing that. I could have sent it to you before then. I just didn't have it.
You don't think this looks better than this?
Well, for me, it's about, we're introducing something that was never there. And so it should be as, I want it to function for y'all, but I also want it to be as minimal as possible. I mean, introducing as little new as possible and to increase the width of the bench by 6 feet. When we'd all agreed, I mean, everyone who looked at this and felt it was great. It's also based on Denton. This was what we all approved and discussed. And so for it to suddenly become 6 feet wider, again, I don't want it to be dangerous. I understand the increasing the platform size in order to eliminate that space.
When Jeff came to me, if you look at this one that you approved, when we call witnesses for JV court, there's about 6 or 12 inches. They're going to come over here and they're going to step up on there instead of walking around and coming through like they should to get up on the bench. If you do it this way, it closes it completely off. There's no misunderstanding of how the judge is going to summon them or the constable to the bench. I mean, this is, you're going to have people come up here because they never go to court. An average person doesn't go to court and have a witness in their life, maybe once or twice in their whole life. They're going to come up here and they're going to step up 6 or 8 inches, women in heels, women in dresses. Instead, it's more obvious they walk around back to common sense and come in and you walk right up and step up here. Same thing's going to happen over here. When we have to have a wheelchair access, that's why we get it this way. But over here, when you look, you're right, we have sit down and agreed to this. The wheelchair is not even going to be able to get up to here, and you're going to be right on top of the judge. I understood you wanted the original platform. When you look at where the original platform lies and you have to bolt it together, it was right underneath number 1 and number 4. So now the way he's done it, it makes it actually where the judge can raise his seat there like it's been designed, and it'll be between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Jeff just sent it to us and asked us if we liked it better or not.
I thought it was a better design.
The other point is on the smaller one, with this rise, like if I'm sitting where I am now, or wherever this commissioner is, you have that rise right here. This chair has one
If
place
we
to
have
go,
the
and it's
judge's
straight
rise, yeah, I
That's
mean, it was
straight
pretty
back.
close.
You have no room. You don't even have room to turn and move your chair because it's
Yeah,
right
yeah.
up against that riser.
If we did it, I guess the old way, I would suggest not doing a rise because of the space allowances, and then I would figure that you probably wanted to just rise.
Right? Just start electing taller judges.
I mean, but the original design,
Telephone book.
the original design did not have a rise. Is that correct? This design.
This one didn't, no, this one didn't have a rise on the bench here. Now, when pulling from the old details that were off on the original drawings, when it was decided that there wasn't, they took out all the
2000 they had it in there.
Yeah, they had it in there from originally. This bench right here, this elevation, was from the old drawing.
Yes, 2000 when it was actually sent, submitted back in 2000 by Judge Steen, there was a rise.
But all the details got X'd out, since they weren't going to do this, and then now since it was done, it is going to be done. I was using those details, making sure it had the hidden details to it.
What do we need to do to get this to work?
Well, I mean, I think if Jeff and I could have some time to talk, I mean, if he can, if he convinces me that, this is necessary for functionality, again, I want this to be functional.
Yeah, I think so. Why
You know
don't
what
y'all
we can
work
do?
this out, take it
We
offline.
can tape it off up over there. I guess some tape and dimensions. We'll take it off this.
Yeah, let's move it on.
Okay, that's it. Okay, we need to, talk about the railing details going down to the basement. Remember we talked about that last time? We didn't know which one to do. Now we can take some appropriate action on the side. Somebody said clear, somebody said hot iron, somebody said,
The original plans showed wood framing with plaster on the wood framing, solid piece. The stairs typically aren't on original going down. I thought, well, they demoed them out to get the concrete in there, so all that had to be removed and put the floor in there anyway. If we're going to go back with something and we're taking that existing solid partition away, historically it would have been better perceived to put something more transparent to emulate that the stairs going down the basement were never original in this period. So we thought about coming with a couple of different options. Doing a glass railing would be the most transparent, most costly. The metal mesh railing is still transparent, and that would be less costly. And then the original plan was Stoddard was having to work with the wood framing and plaster, and that was in the plan. So you'd have that money associated to whatever the detail we would decide to go with. The glass railing, I came up with this. It's an all transparent glass railing system to price out. And then I got that to Lee.
I did some preliminary.
That was what it cost on it.
Given our deduct back on the wall, you're looking at about $5,900
And what is the
most. I didn't really finalize that.
Just go with what's on the plan.
Put what's on the plan.
all right, we're going with the wood.
Let's put what's on the plan.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to go back to
I
the
move
wood.
we put what's on the plan.
Absolutely. I'm tired of spending money.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Berry to go back with the original wood as
planned, as already on the plan.
The original plans.
Anybody, discussion? Then, I'll call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank y'all very much. Now we need I think Stan is considering taking appropriate action regarding a line item transfer from development compliance to purchasing. Stan, you want to, y'all are.
We're good?
Wait a minute, let's see if there's a director transfer.
Yeah.
You've got it.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. Yeah. Thank you. Take care.
We'll get it done.
No.
Thank you. Put it back to San Antonio.
Susan, you're going to court.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
How you doing?
You are.
Fight for us. We need that thing.
Yes, Judge and Commissioners, at your last meeting, you asked me to bring a proposed budget in, and because of the personnel problems, give a consideration in purchasing. What I would suggest is 90 days of salary for that individual, which would be about $6,200, plus the taxes and benefits, which would be another $1,000.
If needed.
If needed.
Motion approved.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner Simpson to approve the line item transfer from development and compliance to purchasing. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then consider and take appropriate action on controller's request to refund unused portion of tobacco grant addendum 63211. Yes,
Judge and Commissioners, this is something that's come to light recently. Former Constable Kelly Kishner had taken on a project which is a Texas statewide tobacco education and prevention grant, Texas STEP grant. He had partially underway. He made a little bit of progress on this. It was a $4,000 grant. He spent apparently $585.28 of that grant, which was reported to the comptroller as of September 15, 2009. This project apparently became orphaned when he vacated the position. There's a copy of a letter dated March 18, 2010 that was addressed to him. Apparently nothing ever came of this. It wasn't followed up on. And then there's another letter which recently came to the constable's office dated February 18, 2011. Finally came to the treasurer's attention, and the treasurer is asking for the court permission to step in and make this refund. And
how much are they asking for the refund?
The refund is a balance unspent $3,414.72. That money is on deposit in a separate fund in the treasurer's office.
I have a motion made by Commissioner Heatherington, seconded by Commissioner Berry, to refund the remaining balance of the tobacco grant, which is $3,014.72. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. The last thing we have, I believe, is consider and take appropriate action on a resolution to support Brian Patrick to fill a vacancy in the Brazos G Water Planning Group.
Motion approved.
Okay, we have a motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner Heatherington. Any discussion? And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carried. Thank you very much. I need you guys to sign this thing.